Hello and welcome to the PREPS conference this year, Game on Unlocking Educational Excellence. My name is Dr. Anthony Golding and I'm joined by Miss Marrion Winders, and we will do some formal introductions here in just a moment, but we just wanted to welcome you to our virtual presentation titled Teacher Retention Reimagined, Building a Winning Team Through Support and Celebration. I want you to take a moment to imagine that you're walking into a room that instantly makes you feel like you're at ease, a place where the stress of being an educator just melts away, and you're reminded that you're valued not just as a teacher or a leader, but as a person. This is what Room Zen is all about. Let me take you back to the day that Room Zen was born. As a new principal at an elementary school, I went in and started to have my first data meetings with my staff, and I could just sense the anxious feelings and stress that came with those. And I even had a few teachers break out into tears over past traumas when it comes to discussing data. And we all know the overwhelming feeling of entering a traditional data room. It's often a place where you have intense discussions, you have problem solving sessions, you have deep dives into student performance. But what if that space could be something different? What if we could create a space where teachers felt supported and motivated rather than stressed and burdened? And so that's where the idea of Room Zen came into play. Acting off the feedback of our teachers, we created a goal, Miss Winders and I, my assistant principal, to transform a space into a sanctuary for teachers, a place where they could discuss data and still perform the normal business of a school, but do so in an environment that was designed to support their emotional well-being. So, what did we do? We swapped out the sterile desk and tables and bulletin boards that we had in there, and we put in cozy massaging chairs. We used calming diffusers. We used stress relieving tools like kinetic sand and adult coloring books and soft, tranquil water fountains. And soon, Room 10 became a place where staff could recharge and refocus before diving into the difficult decisions and conversations that we often face as educators. So, Room 10 transformed into Room Zen. And here's the thing: Room Zen wasn't about relaxation, it was about engagement. We wanted our teachers to feel inspired and give their best. And when teachers are engaged, motivated, and supported, it reflects in the work that they do with their students. It becomes this cycle of positivity that affects the entire school. And that's what we were trying to create, a positive environment. Room Zen was a place where teachers could meet and collaborate, but more importantly, it's a place where they felt valued, heard, and re energized. It was a daily reminder that we, as administrators and leaders, see their hard work and we're here to support them in every step of the way. We realized at Pierce Street Elementary School that when we invested into our teachers' well being, we invested into our students' success. Engaged teachers lead to engaged students. The success stories coming from these reflective, restorative sessions that we had in Room Zen are proof that this approach worked. Teacher burnout is not diminished, but it's better. Our staff collaboration is thriving. Our PLC team meetings are going great. Our morale it's been getting high marks. We are constantly getting feedback on surveys that say morale is great. And that's the essence of our Room Zen. It's just creating a culture of care and motivation that we've woven into the very fabric of our school. Every time a teacher steps out of that room, they feel empowered to be the best version of themselves, and for our students. And so today, in this presentation, we're going to talk about some of these practices that we put into place at Pierce Street Elementary School that have led to teacher retention and educator wellness. And some of these practices may work for you, some of them may not, but we will give you time to sit and reflect throughout this meeting and just consider your school and how these practices could work for you. So at this moment, we have our first reflection question of the day. What impact do you think a focus on staff well-being could have on your school? And how does prioritizing staff engagement directly influence the success of your school community? Let's just take a minute for us to introduce ourselves as your presenters today. My name is Dr. Anthony Golding, and I'm the principal at Pierce Street Elementary School. I've been in education for 12 years. 8 of those years I've served as an administrator at the elementary, middle, and high school level. And I'm very excited to be presenting to you today as a former PREPS CEO member from way back in 2017. And so, just wanted to talk to you today as two practicing administrators in a school here in Mississippi, because we see the day-to-day of what our Mississippi leaders and administrators go through, and we just hope that some of these practices are beneficial to you. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my assistant principal, Miss Marion Winders, to introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Marrion Winders. I am the assistant principal at Pierce Street Elementary in Tupelo, and I'm so thankful to be here with Dr. Golding today to present to you all some practices that we truly believe in that help with teacher retention. This is my 30th year in education. It's my 6th year as an administrator. And yes, I was a participant as a CEO leadership through the preps in 2020. And so, again, welcome. I'm glad you're here to learn about some of the practices that we do here at Pierce Street that we hope you can take with you into your buildings.
I also just want to take a minute to introduce you to my leadership team, a group of people that I truly would be lost without. We have Miss Kelly Fleming, the Pierce Street Elementary School instructional coach, and Miss Evangelist Stanford, the Pierce Street counselor. And we call ourselves the Lions Den, and we have a standing appointment every week, Friday morning, to discuss the needs and decisions of the school from a leadership point of view. And so I wanted to take just a second to give them a shout out. All right. We also wanted to take just a moment to introduce you to Pierce Street Elementary School. Pierce Street Elementary School is a elementary school in the Tupelo Public School District that services grades 3 through 5. We have about 350 students that go to school at Pierce Street, and we are a Title I school with about a 56% free and reduced lunch percentage. We are a Tier 1 PBIS model site through Reach, Mississippi, and we are also a promising practices site through Solution Tree for our professional learning community practices. At Pierce Street, we say that every day is a party, and we truly believe that. We believe that the teaching and learning is incredibly important. I mean, that is why we do what we do, but we also want our students to be happy. And so we have made it a theme to say that every day is a party at Pierce Street. And you'll hear more about that later as we try to create what we call a positive environment at our school. So at this point, you may be asking yourself, what all does this have to do with teacher retention? So that's what we're going to talk about. In this presentation, we're going to explore some practical strategies that we've used for teacher retention and empowerment, and we hope that can be adapted to any school. We're going to talk about our Monday morning check-ins, which is our simple but effective practice that we use to start the week on positive notes by giving staff a space to kind of share their highs and lows. We're going to talk about how those are beneficial for us and what we do with those. And we'll just dive into some collaborative leadership through our development of our guiding coalition. This is where we empower our teachers to take leadership roles and help us influence school decisions. And it has created a sense of ownership and shared responsibility with our staff and has led to engagement, which we know research supports when it comes to retention. We'll also discuss our PBIS strategies that we use for our staff, which a lot of people think PBIS can sometimes be just for students, but we also do that with our staff with small acts of positive reinforcement and some things that we do that we have used to create a culture of appreciation that just boosts the morale in our building. We'll also highlight just our positive environment that I alluded to earlier. We're going to talk to you about some of the fun themes that we do, some celebrations, and just some other practices that we do to create a culture of joy in our building that we hope reduces burnout and makes the school a place where teachers love. And from what we hear from our teachers, Truly seems to be the case. Lastly, we'll talk about our staff outings and experiences and some other things that we do to build camaraderie outside of the school and create relationships, authentic, genuine relationships with our teachers and teachers with one another. Because we know that whenever there are deep connections and a strong sense of community, teachers tend to be more engaged and motivated. And so, as we go through these, I hope that you'll take a moment to think how these apply to your school, because we do feel like these are adaptable and they can be scalable. And these are just practical ways that help school leaders create an engaging, supportive environment that also leads to your teacher retention and success. As school leaders, we know that culture does not happen by accident. And, there's that old saying where culture eats strategy for breakfast. And it does fall a lot of times on the shoulders of leadership to create the culture that they want to see in their school. Because, as this quote says here on the left, if we hire great teachers but don't create environments to retain them, we're just always going to be fighting a losing battle. And so, we also we have to understand as leaders that culture is not an accident. It happens intentionally. It's something that has to be planned for. And so, once again, hopefully, some of these practices that you're going to learn about today can be applied to your school, because we know what research states about the current state of our teachers and educators as a whole. I mean, talking about the current state of our teachers as a whole, we know that stress levels are up. Over 75% of teachers say that they feel stressed, and teaching is always one of the most stressful professions in the United States, as measured by most surveys. We know that there is retention problems. 55% of teachers in 2022 considered leaving the profession earlier than they had planned. We know that the job is hard, so job satisfaction has been falling. And so, as leaders, we are battling all these outside factors that some we have control over, some we may not. And so, what we have to do is become innovative in our approaches to teacher retention, because while we may not be able to affect some things like salary or other things that are beyond our control, we can control some of the day to day practices in our building. And hopefully, this leads to our teachers feeling less burnout, less stressed, and with a higher sense of job satisfaction. Because in the end, this is what we're trying to avoid. We don't want our teachers to go home and feel like this. So I know what you may be thinking. You're probably thinking, yeah, this all sounds good and all, but what does the research say about it? Hattie's list of effect sizes actually has quite a lot to say about positive working environments, teacher student relationships, social and emotional learning. And so we included some of that here. And you can see that strong relationships with teacher students has a positive effect on student achievement, as does social and emotional learning, and as does a positive classroom environment. So we know, like the old book that came out quite a few years ago says, if you don't feed the teachers, they're going to eat the students. And so we try daily to reinforce positive behaviors with our staff so that that carries over to our students as well. So, with that being said, let's finally jump into some of our Peer Street Pawsome practices that we do at our school. All right, the first practice that we're going to talk about is one that we feel like is quite simple. It's called our Monday morning check in. Our Monday morning check in is just a weekly survey that we send out each Monday morning that gives teachers a platform where they can share their experiences and feelings as they start a new week. The survey focuses on three main areas, which are celebrating the highs, acknowledging the lows, and voicing any concerns. We did this because we know that supportive leadership improves job satisfaction and employee performance, and we know that trust and communication enhances team cohesion and collaboration. Research supports this. And so we wanted to be immediate with our support, and if our teachers needed anything, they had the opportunity to tell us Monday morning, and they're quickly checked in. So, going through the three sections of the survey, the high section allows educators to kind of reflect on some positive moments that they've had from the previous week. It creates a culture of recognition and appreciation. Um, A lot of times, this is what the response we get from our surveys. A lot of people will say that they're having a great week and they're doing well, and that's the most often response that we get. However, we also have a lows section that provides the opportunity for teachers to discuss with us any challenges they may be facing, whether it's in their classroom or with their workload, or even in their personal relationships. And so they can request a meeting with either the principal, the assistant principal, the instructional coach, or the counselor to discuss anything that they um, see that they may have a concern with. We've this practice has been beneficial for us because we have learned a lot about our staff that we did not know. Some of the personal battles that they may be facing at home, that they're trying to compartmentalize as they go throughout the day at work. And so it's allowed us to learn more about our staff and be supportive in ways just beyond the classroom. So the purpose of these check-ins is not just for us to gather data, it also acts as an open line of communication between the staff and the leadership. It signals to us that their voices are valued. It signals to them that their voices are valued and that their well being is our priority. And so, after we collect the responses each Monday, we make it a point to meet with all the teachers individually or in small groups to discuss whatever feedback they have. And we ensure that their input leads to action and support. It helps build trust. It promotes a positive school culture, and this ultimately leads to teacher retention and student success. So, like I mentioned earlier, the purpose of these surveys are just to demonstrate to the teachers that their voice matters. We're here to support them. We want to make sure that their negatives and their positives are validated and that we can support in any way that is possible. So, this creates a sense of community and trust with our staff. Before we stop and reflect on this practice and how it may be applicable to your school, just know that 85% of employees, as measured by a Gallup poll, say that timely responses from their manager or boss positively impact their satisfaction and trust in their leadership. And teams with managers who respond quickly to requests are 21% more engaged compared to teams with less responsive leaders. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish here at Pierce Street with the Monday morning check-in is we want our staff to know that they can talk to us and they will get a timely response. And if there's a request that they make, we're going to most often try to meet their needs. And so we give them that opportunity in a survey format each Monday morning. All right, we're now to our second stop and reflect of the presentation. The questions for this one is how can leaders create regular opportunities for their staff to share experiences and feelings in a way that fosters emotional safety and builds trust within your school community? And how can teachers let leadership know how they feel before that end of the year survey? Are your teachers able to be honest with leadership?
As we've stated before, John Hattie's research on effect sizes provides valuable insights into what influences student achievement. Collective efficacy has a high effect size of 1.57, indicating a powerful impact on student achievement. And this means when educators believe in their collective ability to improve student outcomes, students are more likely to succeed. As we began strengthening here at Pierce Street, as we began strengthening our PLC process, we learned that having a guiding coalition would be very important for teachers to gain their support or their buy-in and help with communicating with the staff as a whole. Now, this group of teacher leaders helps shape our school decisions. They give teachers a voice and creates an ownership in following our mission and vision. Our coalition meets on a regular basis, with some being virtual, where we send a question for the members to poll their departments and then report back by chatting in the group. Recently, we needed to make a quick decision about our district common testing practices, and this style of communication worked perfectly because we didn't want to make the decision as administrators. We wanted to implement what the majority of the teachers preferred. Other times, we have formal meetings where we have an agenda developed together with teachers and administrators. Topics include setting SMART goals for the school, discipline overviews, and other practical decisions that need to be made for the school as a whole. But we found, like we said, that this collaborative leadership through a guiding coalition is beneficial in giving teachers a voice and making everyone feel included. One practice that we've been very intentional about is through our PBIS for teachers. Typically, schools will just focus on PBIS for their students, but we have found that when we include the teachers, that we get a boost in morale and motivation, which carries over in our student achievement. We see that when staff receive recognition for their hard work, it boosts their self-esteem, it encourages them to contribute and putting in effort continually. For teachers and staff, recognition for their dedication and contributions reinforces their sense of purpose. It encourages them to stay engaged and committed to our school community. This regular recognition helps everyone feel valued, which naturally leads to higher motivation. When visiting classrooms, Dr. Golding and I will leave handwritten notes on stationery, letting them know something that we enjoyed observing for the day. Other times we leave quick sticky notes or smiley faces on a little sheet of paper, both positive affirmations. Sometimes we'll write on the dry erase board, maybe the percentage of engagement that we see in the day, and that way the students can see that too, and they can feel a bit of motivation as well. Another area is fostering positive and inclusive environment. That regular recognition promotes a culture of inclusivity by celebrating the unique strengths and contributions of the individuals. And when all teachers and staff, regardless of their achievements, are regularly recognized for their efforts, we see a sense of belonging. We have positive office referrals for students where teachers recognize them for exhibiting positive behaviors. And we also have teacher staff spotlights. So we have teacher staff spotlights where teachers fill out a form for each other. And if they've observed them doing something positive or going above and beyond for their students and other teachers. And these staff spotlights are turned into me, and I announce them over the loudspeaker during morning announcements, and then I place them in their mailboxes for the teachers to keep. And more times than not, we'll see that the teachers have taped them near their desks or posted them in their desk area as a reminder of the recognition. And this is just a simple way to show that everyone's contributions matter. Encouraging collaboration and teamwork is another form of PBIS for teachers. When appreciation is extended not just to individuals, but also to the groups, we've found that it strengthens their sense of teamwork. For instance, recognizing a class for their collective efforts on a project or a group of teachers for working together on a school initiative, it encourages cooperation. And we like to use goose passes for daily perfect attendance or 100% completion on surveys or any kind of extra paperwork that we ask for, even, like getting grades posted on time. If you don't know, GOOSE, it stands for Get Out of School Early. And so teachers really like this incentive. Teachers get to leave 15 minutes early for this reward. And this kind of recognition reinforces the idea that success is often a collective effort, which can lead to stronger collaboration and a sense of camaraderie within the school community. So we have really found a lot of success using the Goose Passes. Another area of that is creating a growth mindset. Recognition is not just about celebrating achievements, but also about recognizing effort and improvement. And we encourage that, when we're talking to students about student achievement. And when the focus is on progress rather than just the outcomes, student and staff are more likely to embrace that growth mindset, where challenges are seen as opportunities for learning. And so this fall, we challenged the staff to record themselves showing how to do an attention getter, like clapping hands or eyes on me or class, to get the class's attention. And if the teacher sent us that video, then they received an ice cream bar at lunch. And so many teachers did enjoy that, and it did give them just a space to try to grow a little bit and show themselves and show us that they um, are trying new things. But regular recognition of that effort, that perseverance and resilience does encourage individuals to take those risks and try new things, if, without the fear of failure. Of course, with teacher PBIS, an area of reinforcing positive behavior is important. And in our elementary school setting, we see that that regular recognition is important for positive behavior. Even with teachers, whether it's showing kindness to others or demonstrating expectations, that consistent acknowledgement of positive actions helps us internalize that behavior. And so, one thing we do for our teachers is we have a monthly perfect attendance. We design a poster, we place it outside their door, and the prize is a free week of jeans. If your staff is anything like ours, they love to wear jeans to school. And so, when they are have perfect attendance for the month, that's what they win. And Dr. Golding and I have seen an uptick in our teacher attendance rates since we have incorporated that. Also, with enhancing our school culture and community, a culture of appreciation doesn't just stay within the classroom, it extends throughout the school community. And so, that regular recognition, whether it's through awards, our shout outs, or simple expressions of gratitude, it's helping build a school wide culture of kindness, respect, and appreciation. And so, it encourages everyone, students, teachers, staff, and even parents, to actively contribute to the positive and inclusive environment. This collective effort strengthens the overall school culture, and what we hope is that it makes a more welcoming and uplifting place for everyone. At this time, we'll stop and reflect for a moment. What are some ways that you build morale and a positive culture with your staff?
All right, this next topic is one that I'm just really excited to share with you about, and it's just about our unapologetically wholesome environment that we have created at Pier Street. And so, like I told you in the beginning, whenever I became a principal, we knew that learning and teaching had to be the main thing. It's the most important thing, but we also wanted our students to be happy and to have fun at school. We wanted our students to enjoy school. So we kind of set the expectation where fun is not encouraged anymore, it's expected. And so, as we talk about our Pawsome environment that we've created at Pier Street, we have made it a mission there to foster happiness, celebration, and well being, not just for the kids, but for the staff as well. And we really feel that this has done a lot to improve our teacher retention and lead to an overall joyful staff. So, like I told you earlier, at Pier Street, we say that every single day is a party. Why do we say that? And why do we do this? It's because research tells us that when you create a joyful school culture, it just doesn't make the teachers and students happier. It directly contributes to better outcomes across the board. We have seen growth in student achievement. We've seen growth in student attendance. We've seen a reduction in disciplinary issues. In fact, I'll even say that we've tried to create school so much of a happy place that when one of our third grade students was told that they were going to Disney World over Christmas, she had to miss a few days of school. She was more upset with having to miss a few days of school to go to Disney. And so we like to say now that we're competing with Disney World for happiness. But that's the kind of school environment that we wanted to create at Pierce Street, and we've done a lot um, of things that you'll see here in just a moment to create that environment. So, are you willing to kiss a goat? And so, what I want you to notice in that video is just the pure joy and happiness that you see on the kids' faces. And this came from a competition slash project that the kids themselves came up with. Each year, early in the fall, we establish a principal advisory council, which is a group of students that apply and interview with the principal and assistant principal to be part of the positivity that we bring in each day at the school. And so these kids, we told the kids that we wanted to have some sort of reading competition. The students decided that they wanted to challenge themselves to read 1,500 books. And if they did so, then they would get to watch their administrators kiss a goat. And so the kids worked together and they read over 2,000 books in the span of 3 weeks. And so, as a celebration, we brought a baby goat onto campus that day, and kids got to watch their principal and assistant principal kiss a goat. And it's just one of that's just kind of like what a normal day at Pierce Street's like. We're always doing something to bring joy and to bring smiles to our kids' faces. We all know Dr. Brene Brown, and Dr. Brene Brown famously said that we are hardwired for connection, curiosity, and engagement. And neuroscience backs this up. When people feel like they have a sense of belonging and joy with what they do, their brains release dopamine, which enhances their memory, focus, and creativity. So, in a school setting, what does this translate to? It translates to higher teacher efficacy and better academic results for our students. A 2018 study in educational leadership revealed that teachers who work in joyful, supportive environments are significantly less likely to experience burnout and more likely to remain in their roles long term. And that's what we're trying to create at Pierce Street. That's what it all boils down to is we want to create a positive environment, not just for our kids, but for our staff so that our staff does not feel burn out and they remain with us and when we don't have a problem with teacher retention. And so low morale in schools typically looks like frequent complaints, low productivity, absenteeism, changes in behavior, and lack of enthusiasm. And so we work every day intentionally to combat those factors. So at Pierce Street Elementary School, my assistant principal and I both embrace the philosophy that joy does not come by accident. Just like with culture, it is something that you have to intentionally build. And so at Pierce Street, we do a lot just to bring a smile to our teachers' faces. We celebrate silly, make believe holidays. We participate in staff dress up days. One of our most favorite events was just hosting a National Pickle Day where we brought around pickles to the staff and watched them smile and laugh at these silly little moments. And it's not just silly little moments, it is recharging our teachers through these fun experiences. At least once a week, we try to organize an activity that emphasizes just teamwork and fun. It might be a dance party in the cafeteria on Friday, or us bringing around a Coke float to get you through an afternoon of a busy week, or it could just be simply leaving you a sticker that says Dr. Golding and Miss Winters think I'm awesome. This is all about just bringing smiles to people's faces. And these are our opportunities that we use to build relationships and show our staff that we care, that we're constantly thinking about them. Research, once again, backs this up. Psychology Today highlights that team building activities like this improve collaboration, they improve communication and morale by over 50% and create a healthier work environment. And this fun has spilled over. Now we are seeing that we have teachers who want to sort of lead the fun activities that we're having. And it was actually a teacher that created our Secret Spirit Days and encouraged other things like an awkward team photo contest. I know that as a leader, some of this probably does sound a little silly and goofy, and that's because it is. We want it to be. But we also know that in leadership, there are times where we have to make withdrawals. We have to tell a teacher that they have to move to another grade level or teach a different subject. We have to tell a teacher who's been in a room a long time that they have to move rooms. We have so many difficult decisions that we have to make with our staff. So let me ask you this, and this is your next reflection question. When you must make these withdrawals, what did you deposit first? At Pierce Street, as with any school, it is the leadership team that sets the tone. And so we encourage ourselves to just be a little bit goofy, and we're not afraid to do that. We're not afraid to put on silly costumes or lead pep rallies or just go dance through the hallways. When leaders are able to model this vulnerability and joy, it sends a powerful message to our teachers and students that it's okay to have fun at work and school. This authenticity builds trust and breaks down barriers, which ultimately helps our team perform better together. And so the whole topic of this presentation is about retention. And so we believe that creating a joyful atmosphere has a clear impact on the teacher retention. Teachers want to stay in a place where they feel valued, appreciated, and connected to something bigger than themselves. And we've often heard, as many have, that it is not teachers that quit a job, it's teachers that quit a boss. And so a Gallup study found that workplaces that prioritize employee well being see a 41% decrease in absenteeism and a 59% reduction in turnover. And that's what we're trying to accomplish by leaning into this unapologetically Pawsome theme that we've created. We want retention to be no longer a challenge and to be a point of pride. And so joy can be a strategic priority for your schools. As you reflect on your own school or your own district, I encourage you to think about this. How are you intentionally bringing joy into your culture? At Pierce Street, we've learned that a little fun can go a long way towards creating a school where teachers and students thrive. When we say every day is a party at Pierce Street, we mean it. and word is catching on. It's our reminder to ourselves that we need to keep celebrating small wins, finding fun even in the challenges, and staying connected as a team. Because when our teachers and students are happy, everyone wins. So, next reflection question, take just a minute to think, how are you bringing the joy or bringing the fun to your workspace?
One way that we have found to build joy or bring the fun is to offer staff outings and experiences together. We've seen that organizing these staff outings and experiences, like team building activities or more informal gatherings, that they significantly strengthen the relationships among our school staff outside the school environment as well. And so we've seen that when staff members spend time together outside of the school setting, they have the chance to talk, have conversations, and activities that go beyond the daily work related interactions. And sharing these experiences in a relaxed, informal setting can help build trust and understanding, which is essential for fostering a collaborative work environment. We try to offer a staff outing once every 9 weeks. Most recently, we had a Christmas party at our local country club. We were fortunate that our PTO paid for the evening, for the food. We had music, and those that wanted to dance danced. It was very relaxing time to enjoy each other, and our spouses were invited too. So uh, that's one way, and that's one thing we've done recently. Reducing stress and preventing burnout. Um, as we all know, teaching can be an incredibly demanding profession, and the staff outings and experiences provide an opportunity to relax and recharge, de-stress. We like to have laughter and relaxation, like I said, sometimes physical activity. Reducing those stress levels is going to always help to prevent burnout. One upcoming activity that we'll be doing together is taking ballroom dancing lessons with a professional dancer from a local dance studio here in town. And it's through a grant that we got the funding to have 10 lessons. And we'll be doing these on our upcoming Tuesday afternoons from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And they'll be on a voluntary basis, but our staff has kind of gotten to know each other, and I feel like they will have fun with this. And we asked our our teachers to stay till 3:30 every day anyway. And so staying an extra 30 minutes on Tuesdays will give them a little exercise and some fun for sure. Some of the other outings we've had, maybe we'll meet at a Mexican restaurant after school or meet at a local pizza place. Some of those places have donated a percentage of their proceeds to us as a school fundraiser, and so we'll do that as a staff outing in conjunction with the PTO fundraiser night for those places. And when staff are able to take time for themselves and connect with their colleagues in a positive, enjoyable setting, they usually return the next day to work feeling refreshed, more energized, and better equipped to handle the challenges of the days ahead. Team building activities are also specifically designed to help groups work together more effectively. And whether we're problem solving challenges or icebreaker games or simply sharing fun experiences, These activities have encouraged our staff members to collaborate in ways that they might not do during the normal workday. Recently, we did one of the trending TikTok games as an opener to a faculty meeting, and the entire staff was split into two groups, and the winning team won a goose pass for the next day. Other fun outings we have done are meeting at the movie theater together and watching a movie, and going to board and brush session together. The board and brush session allowed our creative juices to flow as we painted and sanded wood to make personalized crafts. As staff works together in a non school setting, they develop a sense of camaraderie and shared experiences that translate back into the workplace. And so a cohesive team can tackle challenges more effectively, provide stronger support to one another, and create a more positive and productive school environment. So, sometimes the simplest moments, such as sharing a meal together or participating in a friendly competition, those moments create shared memories that strengthen our bonds that we have at Pierce Street.
We hope that this presentation has been helpful for you, and we hope that this has sparked some ideas that you can use and take back to your school or district. And so, what we have done is we have given you our email addresses here on this slide because we realize that we may have left you with some questions. And so, we encourage you that if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Also, please feel free to reach out if you'd like for us to share any resources or just give you help you brainstorm some ideas that may be working for or may work for your school. And so, once again, thank you so much for listening to this presentation.